it's Margaret, and today I am going to take you on a walkthrough of how I research items before I list them and my whole process for creating a good title and figuring out my price point and everything in between. So I am choosing some of the bracelets that I got from the last jewelry jar unboxing, and I'm going to take you through, I think there are 3 or 4 bracelets to show you how I find good keywords, how I identify what the item is, and what price I'm going to put on it.
So here's the first item that I am wanting to list. I found this bracelet in the latest jewelry bag unboxing that I did, and it is a cuff style but sort of bangle that's been bent over these 2 posts along the back end. And I wasn't exactly sure what kind of bracelet this was, so I didn't know how to accurately describe it so that it would show up if someone was looking for it. So this is my process. I attempt to the best of my ability to label what it is. Let me pull it up again so you can see it as I do this. I'll keep it right down here so you can see it here. So I type in to the best of my ability what it is. Bangles, cuff, bent over, because that's what I'm seeing. So when I look at the options that pop up, I see one that looks similar right here, and that's about it. So I'm thinking that I'm not describing it accurately. So the next thing I did was I clicked on that item that looked similar and read what it called it here, hammered silver bangle cuff bracelet. Okay, so I wasn't too far off. Cuff, yes. Bracelet, yes. I added bangles in mine because they remind me of bangles. So here I tried another search, row of bangles, cuff bracelet, and I got a few more things that were similar. I saw this one that was called a crossover cuff bracelet, and then this Kenneth Cole one, multi-row wire cuff bracelet. So these are great keywords that I am planning on saving and using when I create the title for my listing. So then I come over gold tone bangle rhine. Oh, that's the next one. Sorry. All right. So at this point, this is where I'll start pulling keywords to create my listing. Now, I could just go ahead and create a new listing, but what I'm going to do is find in my shop another bracelet that I can use to copy bracelet, and I'll show you why. I'm looking for one that is similar-ish. Let's go with a cuff. All right. You know what? I changed my mind. And the reason I changed my mind is I want to go with a listing that has sold because that means somebody found it. So here I'm searching all my listings. These are my active and my inactive listings. So I'm going to write cuff in there. And I want to choose one that has sold. See, okay, here I've got one that was kind of similar, and this one says sold out, but what I want to do is copy it. So here it tells me it's a copy. So I can take out the photographs to add in my own. And the reason I want to copy it is right down here, the search terms, because I don't want to go back in and type in all new search terms if some of them might apply to this bracelet. Because that is the part that takes me the longest, is getting these in for the search engine optimization. So I go through and choose a listing that I already have and that I've already figured out the shipping, which is actually kind of high, right there. Okay, so here I have got this bracelet, and I'm actually not sure that it's vintage. So what I'll do is create the listing in here and just save it out and to show you, because then I just copy and paste it over to eBay. I figure since I'm already here, I might as well just show you my process. So I'm not sure that it's vintage, so I'm going to go ahead and take that out. And some of these search terms that I found over here that I liked were here, this multi-row wire cuff bracelet. So I'm going to add that in right here. Multi-row wire cuff bracelet. Anything else? This one says 5 rows. What multi-row? This one says crossover. I don't think any of mine's crossover. All right, single row. I can count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 row cuff bracelet. And one of them does look copper, so I'll leave copper in there. Copper and silver I'm going to put silver tone because it's not silver. Cuff bracelet, mixed metal, I'll leave that in. Hammered, handmade, no. Hammered metal bracelet, I can leave that in because this part kind of looks hammered. But I'm seeing a lot of bracelet, bracelet, bracelet. I want to get that bangle in there because they remind me of bangles. And then over here, I'm going to put bangles. All right, were there any other keywords that I wanted? Hammered silver bangle cuff bracelet. Okay, so for that, now I can change my price. I'm looking at these prices. Yeah, right. Okay. So then it's time to look for what would I price this at. Multi-row wire cuff bracelet. Let's just copy this part right here. Copy. I'm going to search for it in a regular search. I search for it in eBay, and I also search for it in Etsy. I know some people say just you need to go off solds, which is fine. But I also like to just get an idea. Why not? I just look at all the different stuffs. I don't think it's going to go for a ton, but I like to have an idea of what similars are going for. So this is just a Google search. I'm not seeing a ton there. Mine is not a Kenneth Cole, and it's not as fancy schmancy as that. So let's look at sold listings. I feel like I looked at these before. I don't know why it didn't save it over here. That is curious. Very curious. Oh, look, maybe they just got out of order. Haha, I did save them. Okay, so this is on eBay. There's that one again. And then here are, these are solds. So these are beaded ones. I don't really have beaded ones, and I'm not selling mine for $2. This one is $27. Okay, see, I knew I did this. And here we've got multi-row wire cuff bracelet. Good. Okay, that I plugged in. And I'm not seeing anything exactly like mine. This one is similar, but again, I'm not selling mine for $1. $14.78. That's, I'm thinking around the $15 mark is what I'm going to aim at. So from what I am seeing, I'm probably going to put mine around the $15 mark. I don't see a ton of solds on eBay that are comparable. This one sold for $12.99, which is similar. Let's look at what they've got. Open cuff bangle bracelet. I don't have the word open in there, so maybe I need to put the word open in there. All right, so I'm happy with that. I am satisfied. So I will come over here and I can 10 row, let's see, let me find the word, silver tone, let's do open cuff bracelet. So here, bracelets, cuff bracelets, I'm going to leave that $14.99. On Etsy, you can only add in 5 photos. So then I've got that squared away. And down here at my mixed metal bracelet, mixed metal cuff, tri-metal cuff. So I'm pretty happy with these descriptors down here. What did I call it up here? Multi-wire. Let's take out brass and add in multi-wire. All right, so I've got the photos dropped in, and I can adjust the thumbnail here to make sure it's centered the way I like it. Save. And then I am going to save as draft until I can determine whether or not this bracelet is vintage or not. And for Etsy, vintage has to be before 1997, so it could be vintage. All right, let me save that out until I am comfortable that it is vintage. If not, I have the, ooh, you know what I didn't do? Describe it. Okay, now I've got the description and the measurements in. I can save it out. The next bracelet that was in the jewelry bag that I am planning on selling is this bangle. I went back and forth about putting it in a lot. Now this picture is not the best. Let me show you some others. Neither is that. I tried out, shooting on black, shooting on white. So I'll just show you all of them. Yeah, I went back and forth about selling this one. It is magnetic. See, that's a bit better. It is magnetic, and it's got a little bit of wear to it, which I'll show you in some of the other pictures. But I thought I would just give it a try. And then this spot right here, I was curious. I wasn't sure if there was supposed to be a stone there. It's set up way higher than the other stones. And then on the backing, it looks like it might be the place where it was joined together. So I'll just have to make sure that I note that in the condition. But I thought it was pretty, so I took lots of pictures. Here's some of the condition issues where it's peeling off a bit. And yeah, so I thought, well, let me give it a try. Worst case scenario, I would end up keeping it. Some of my pictures I'll have to get weeded out. But yeah, lots of pictures of the condition. So here was how I determined what I might find as keywords and what kind of price point I might put on it. So I went to Etsy and I typed in gold tone bangle rhinestone to see what came up. And this one is sort of similar, but a bit more elaborate looking. So that was $22.99 on that one, which I doubt. Now this one is very similar. It looks like it's probably made by the same people. The backing is the same. It's got some of the same features. And let's see what I clicked on next. Next, I did a gold tone bangle rhinestone Google search to see what came up. One, I'm looking for keywords. One, I'm looking for things that are similar. I don't always, go off the prices, as you know, because they are not sold, but I do like to get an idea of what other ones are selling for, or what people are trying to sell them for. All right, so this one is from the same, looks like the same type maker, and the backings are the same, the way it's put together is the same. They're asking $18.50 for it. And I'm looking at their keywords. They have theirs in great condition. Bangle, bracelet, quality, clear, and gold rhinestone textured circles. So mine have that same textured circles. So that might be something I look into for keywords. That's the next one. Okay, so when I go to list this, I am going to, instead of running through the whole listing for you, I'll just tell you what I might do. I'll go through, take a look at some of these keywords, textured circles, clear rhinestones, embellished sides, rolled edges, and those will be some of the keywords that I use. Now they have theirs listed at $18.50. I am guessing I would probably put this around the $12.99 mark. Because of the condition issues, and it may end up being something that's a dud just because of those condition issues, but I'm willing to take a chance on it. Why not? There we go. All right, so that is that. The next bracelet that was in the jewelry bag that I wanted to do some research on to sell was this blue bead and cloisonné bracelet. And in the video I said I think that these beads are lapis. So let me show you this. So these are cloisonné beads, which I always say I wish they they look like they should sell for more. I love them, but they don't sell for as much as I would think. So here I've taken some pictures of the cloisonné and the lapis beads, and these, as you can see, there's a seam on them, so they are not real gold. I think we determined they were plastic. And then the clasp is this vintage clasp. It says silver on it, and I did not put a picture with the magnet, which I usually do, so I'll have to go back and do that. What I do is I'll take a picture next to whatever metal bit is there in the bracelet or the necklace, and if it's magnetic, I have the magnet touching the piece, and if it is not magnetic, I have the magnet setting away from it so that I know when I list it. That's another option, keyword, or not keyword, but in the description I can put if it's magnetic or not. So let me put this down here for you and show you what I found. So I did a search, lapis bead and cloisonné bracelet, and these are some of the items that came up. When I saw these, none of them looked vintage. Now this one's it looks like maybe a vintage clasp on it, but none of these looked vintage. So the next step is I selected the shopping mode so I could see what people were trying to sell them for. And here we've got someone trying to sell it for $120 on Etsy, $30. The prices are all over the place. This one's really pretty. None of them are exactly like what I've got. A lot of them, some of them look homemade. Some of them, yeah, I'm not seeing any really vintagey ones exactly like mine. This one is really pretty, but not vintage. I don't know because of the closure. So then I came to eBay to see what I found there. Lapis bead and cloisonné bracelet vintage, and all kinds of things came up. So I scrolled down. I found this one, but again, this is not a vintage one. It's just got the cloisonné beads. They don't have the lapis beads. That's pretty, but not at all the same. Here we've got one vintage Asian cloisonné enamel lapis gold plated bead necklace, and it is a lot more similar. They sold it for $9.06, and there were 11 bids. Let's take a look at that. I may have already opened it up, but I'm going to go ahead and do it again. I want to take a look at the pictures. I want to see the clasp. That's what I'm after, to see if their clasp is like my clasp. It's not exactly like my clasp. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? So they only have 2 pictures. I would have liked to see more. And their lapis beads don't look as dark as mine, but it could be just the light. There we go, yeah. So next up, this is another search I did. Lapis bead and cloisonné bracelet. I added the vintage word on there to see if I could get it a little more narrowed, somewhat. This one went for $24. It's a stretch one. This one $15.99. That looks like a homemade one. And then here we've got genuine lapis beads and cloisonné pendant, $169. See, vintage cloisonné blue lapis beads, $89. Now, are these sold? Hang on. Holding my horses. No, those are not sold. Okay. When I was going through this and looking at some of the different beads, I said to myself, well, I need to double check and make sure that what I'm seeing and what I believe is lapis is really lapis because of the, I see the gold flecking in it and all of this, and I could see, some imperfections. So I wanted to make sure. So I did a search just to double check, does lapis have gold flecks? And this is what came up. Variously described as indigo, royal, midnight, or marine blue. Lapis Lazuli's signature hue is slightly greenish blue to violetish blue, medium to dark in tone, and highly saturated, okay? In its most prized form, Lapis Lazuli has no visible calcite, which is the white, although it might contain gold-colored pyrite flecks, all right? So mine has got some of this gold pyrite flecks, and the calcite is a white mineral. If you lick it, it tastes like salt, by the way. Fun fact. And so, yeah, I am thinking, so here there's some more pictures of it with the gold flecking. And so you can see here some of the white streaking. So I'm guessing, and like here it's white, that must be the calcite that they're talking about. See, this one's got more white in it. That's the calcite. Okay, that's good to know. I didn't know that. Good to know. So I think from my research, I'm going to make sure that I put the lapis. I'll probably mention the gold flecking, the blue cloisonné. I may use the word Asian, vintage class, gold plated. I know it says silver on the, so it may be gold plate over silver. But I think it was magnetic. I remember saying, why would they mark it silver and then it's gold and then it's magnetic? So that I'm going to have to do a little bit more on. But I'm thinking I'm going to go with a higher price point on this. One, because I do think that these beads are genuine lapis beads, and I'm willing to put a higher price on it and wait. So my thinking is that I will probably go towards the $50 mark for this bracelet and just wait and see. I may go higher. I don't know. But from the research that I've seen, and again, I know a lot of people say, oh, well, you're not really looking at solds, and I didn't see one exactly like what I've got. So here we've got one that's $52 on Etsy right now. So I think that I'm really comfortable putting it at that $50 mark and waiting. And like I always say, I always ask for a higher price. I can always bring the price down if it doesn't sell for the high price, but you know that feeling when you have put something up and it sells lickety-split for a price that and then you think, oh man, I should have priced it higher. So I will probably put it around the $50 mark and then wait for the right buyer. So also, on a side note, the whole bag that I bought, the jewelry grab bag, was $39.99. So if this does sell, that would pay for the whole bag. That would be awesome.
Now, I know you may not find the same items as I did, but hopefully it gives you an idea of how to kind of go down that rabbit hole of finding the right keywords and the right price points for items that you might be selling. This is what I do. Alright guys, so that's my process. You may have a different process, a better way. I would love to hear about it down in the comments section. If you have other tips or ideas, please leave a comment down below and check out the comment section because frequently there are amazing ideas and conversations that go on in the comment section to help each other, and I know I learn a ton from the comments that I receive from you guys. So again, if you have any tips from me, I would love to hear about them. All right, I hope you found this helpful and that you are able to use some of the tips that I gave you today to list items more effectively. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.